Welcome to a brand new episode of You Unlocked, where today I am so excited because I am chatting with Jill Remhimi, a registered holistic nutritionist and former marketing executive who made a major life pivot after struggling with chronic digestive issues for over 7 years. So, despite doing everything right, eating clean, exercising, and following medical advice, Jill found herself exhausted, inflamed, and still searching for answers. Her healing breakthrough came not from another restrictive diet, but through gut healing, nervous system support, and a more holistic, sustainable approach to wellness. So now Jill helps other busy women rebalance their bodies and feel like themselves again from the inside out. Through her signature 12-day gut reset and private coaching, she supports women dealing with bloat, hormone swings, fatigue, and stubborn systems that conventional methods often miss. So, if you're feeling off lately or you're curious about healing your gut without extremes, you're going to love this conversation. So, I am so excited because this is really going to help so many people, especially those of you who are, eating healthy, doing all the right things, but something still feels off. Or, you are constantly bloated or tired and not feeling vitalized. You've got your sugar cravings, multiple cups of coffee a day just to try and get through. And so I am so excited. And if you haven't met me yet, hi, I'm Darby Steinkamp, visibility strategist and mindset coach for powerhouse women ready to stop hiding and start signing high ticket clients with confidence. Through my one-to-one private coaching, I help mompreneurs, coaches, and online service providers refine their messaging, own their voice and authority, and create magnetic content that pulls in the clients that they're meant to work with without burnout or hustle. And my big vision is to build a movement of unapologetic, visible women who sell with conviction and change lives doing what they're damn good at. And my superpower is helping women shift from who am I to say this to who am I not to, so that their content sells and their presence becomes unforgettable. So if you are a woman ready to stand out and be seen and sell your offer, grab my free client magnet mini course. So I will drop all the details below in the show notes. Okay, hello, Jill. For those who
Hello.
are new to you, can you give us a little snapshot of what you do and who you help?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and for having me here. I'm excited to chat with you today. So a little bit about me is, yes, kind of what you said. It was that I'm a registered and board certified holistic nutritionist and also a clinical natural nutrition practitioner. And my specialty is gut health in particular, and a little bit of kind of how I even got here to give you a bit of a background is that I kind of say that the gut health world and the holistic nutrition world is not necessarily an I chose, but it chose me. This wasn't at all on how I expected my career path. I was very performance driven, and I wanted to have this high power marketing executive career. And I went down that trajectory, loved it, even had my own business and as an entrepreneur as well too. And though everything looked right on the outside, that things weren't necessarily going right on the inside. So I did what any type A personality would do is went and bought every tea, every powder, worked out more, did everything I could think of to feel better, but it didn't work. And I saw all the specialists and all the doctors. And so that led me down this path here, which happy to get into more, but that's kind of the quick snapshot of who I am and what I do.
Amazing. Yeah, and we want to talk about holistic health because so many women suffer with the same thing, like bloating, hormone swings, fatigue, and these really like stubborn symptoms that sometimes are deemed as normal, but in actual fact, they're not, right? And they're
Yes.
affecting how you're showing up for yourself, for your family, and for your business. And so, Jill, I know so much of what you do is helping women and men with gut healing,
Mhm.
nervous system support, and really embodying a more holistic, sustainable approach to wellness. But I'd love to know, when was this moment that you realized that your own gut health needed attention?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I remember in particular, as you had mentioned in the introduction, that I went through chronic digestive issues as well as bloating, as well as I was tired all the time. And another thing that really came up for me a lot was that I was sick constantly. And I kind of just chalked it up to stress and all of that. But I was going through these painful digestive symptoms every single day for 7 years. And I just, thought, okay, it's normal. It's just a way of life. And, a doctor will figure it out, or this next prescription or tool will be what it is. But unfortunately, that didn't happen for me. I went through it for around 7 years. And I remember at the point that I was sitting inside of yet another specialist office. And honestly, the specialist office was full, like literally packed. And this was somebody that specialized in digestive issues. And it was packed. There was literally nowhere even to sit in it. And I was kind of looking around. I was like, is this really what the answer was? And there must be, it's kind of one of those aha moments, like there must be a better way moment in life. And so I said, enough's enough. I'm not going to keep doing this, because what was happening there, and I was in this cycle, was every time I went to a doctor or I got another prescription or another over-the-counter medicine, it was always focused on the symptom, but never on the root of that symptom. And so it was like, okay, how do we patch the symptom with yet another band-aid? Why, instead of asking, why is my body presenting this symptom in the first place? What's actually happening at the root? So that's the point where I actually had made an appointment with a holistic health practitioner similar to myself, and was just finally went in there, was like, okay, what is actually going on? And it was really one of these aha moments, because they didn't go, okay, here, take this thing for this symptom. Instead, they were like, okay, let's go back to the beginning of, it's kind of like the chicken and egg or horse and cart
Hmm.
situation, because they went back and said, okay, what are you eating? What are you doing? How are you supporting your nervous system? Walk me through your day-to-day life, and then let's start there, and then follow the path along to why you're feeling symptoms that you are. So that was my moment. It was when they didn't look at it like it was normal. And that was really the turning point, because from that point forward, I changed the way that I ate. I changed the way that I was healing myself from the inside out. And quickly, honestly, within 3 to 4 months, I was completely healed. I was completely transformed. And I never looked back. I never had those issues anymore. And I didn't have to struggle with them day to day. And that completely broke open my mindset of my world, and changed my career from that point forward. I couldn't look back any longer after I saw that so many women are suffering unnecessarily, when there are simple fix if we just put our body back into balance.
I love that. Yeah, I find, yeah, with the, like the typical medicine or doctors, it's always like this, take a prescription, like put a band-aid
Mhm.
on it. And I love how like holistic wellness really does look at the root of it all. And yeah, so many women, why do you think so many women ignore those gut issues or chalk it up to stress or motherhood?
I think because we've been conditioned to normalize feeling unwell, normalize the symptoms that we have are, just a matter of aging, or their hormones, or motherhood, or that you're just part of being really busy and stress of this modern world. And so we downplay our symptoms. because we're used to pushing through. Motherhood's incredibly hard. Being a woman's incredibly hard, and so we've got this like hustle culture that we need to push through. But just because something is common doesn't mean that it's normal and doesn't mean that you need to live with it. I always look at every symptom is your body's way of waving a little flag. And it's just saying, like, I need some attention over here. Something's out of balance. Like a symptom is just your body's way of showing an imbalance. So a big thing of what I do in holistic nutrition and holistic wellness is I'm completely focused on finding the root, finding the body systems that are out of balance and putting them back together. And it's not always what we think it is. It could be, you're thinking I've got this digestive issue, but it's actually nervous system support that's causing that digestive issue. So it's like a little detective. So yeah, I think women, we just normalize feeling unwell, and we need to realize how much our self-care is comes first, and we can't pour from an empty cup. So,
I love that. So you mentioned, yeah, some of the like the red flags, but what are
mhm.
some, common signs that your gut is not okay, even if you are functioning like day to day?
Yeah, good. That's such a good question. Because we can be functioning and still out of balance. And some subtle but common signs would be kind of bloating after meals, waking up bloated as well too, or right before bed, irregular digestion. Like it amazes me how many women think that simply having a bowel movement every 5 days, 10 days is okay, normal, and it's just the way, or that they have to have that cup of coffee to have a bowel movement, or that they have to take some type of over-the-counter powder or tea or something to have that bowel movement, and that's just normal. It's not. Or rushing to the bathroom with diarrhea after they eat is normal. It's not. Or waking up really tired every day, even after you've slept, or other things like skin breakouts, like acne, eczema, rosacea. Those ones are often connected to gut health, as well as mood swings, sugar cravings, even anxiety and depression connected to gut health as well too. So it's, the biggest message here is like your gut impacts way more than just digestion. It's connected to your hormones and your mood, your immune system, your skin, and so much more.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot there.
Yeah, it is. And people kind of like downplay it. And it's a lot of new science. It's just coming out about it, and people are kind of becoming more aware. But, we're trying to spread that message.
Yeah. That's amazing. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm so happy to have you here today
Thank
to
you.
share some of that wisdom because yeah, like there's so many women that are just normalizing things that aren't normal. And
Yes.
yeah, I'd love to know like what are a few things that you wish more women knew about with gut health that could really, change how they feel?
I think I wish women would know, well, a few things. I think that they don't need to go on some extreme protocol to feel better, or that they don't need to depend on, a whole cupboard full of supplements to feel better, that there's just really foundational pieces that we need to focus on first. And that understanding that gut health and gut healing starts with nourishment first and foremost, rather than restriction. I think we're like often, sometimes I have friends and people that forward me like, what do you think about this cleanse? It's some like colon broom that like sweeps everything out, and they saw it on TikTok, and it's some special liquid or powder. And my response always is, when you are dealing with something that's going to quickly evacuate what you have in your digestive system, it's going to come with inflammation. It's not how your system is expecting. So once you're stimulating it aggressively like that, or trying to like mass evacuate, it's going to inflame the flesh that's around there, and that's not what we need for healing. And I think my last thing to say that I wish women knew is that it's safe to slow down. And that's coming from somebody like myself who's very type A and likes to go, go, go. It's kind of ingrained in me, but I am trying to, even for myself and, every woman that I work with is reminding you that rest and balancing your blood sugars and supporting your nervous system are just as important as any supplement that you can take or probiotics or special food lists. And that for so many women that they feel like they have to earn their healing, but your body is there to give you the right support. You just need to provide it the support that it needs to go back into balance.
I love that. And you're a mom and a business
Mhm.
owner. So what do you feel's been the most surprising part of juggling both?
Oh gosh, so much. Being a business owner and a mom, two very difficult jobs. So to all the women and business owners out there, I commend you for it all. But honestly, I think that how much our health is really the anchor for everything else, and focusing on that. And I have days as well as a mother where I feel like I have a long list of things that I need to do, and I can feel overwhelmed easily, just like everybody else. But what I'll then ask myself is, am I well fed? Did I get a good sleep? Am I feeling regulated? Am I feeling grounded? Because if I have all of those things, everything else flows that much easier. Um, Kid tantrums are easier to manage. The surprises that come up in the day flow more easily. Unexpected work things flow more easily. So even within the chaos, it's really that foundation that I always ask people before, especially even for people that are always reaching to, what is that tool that I need to support myself? Is there a prescription or some special something or other that I need to get? I am always just asking, like, have you focused on that foundation? And for me, that's probably been the best thing for me, is to just keep on reminding myself, because I also used to think that success meant hustle. And motherhood has really surprised me and humbled me greatly, and taught me that sustainability is my power, and that, we're all wearing many hats, and that I need to keep myself regulated, and need to keep myself balanced, in order to show up for my kids, show up as a better mother, and show up for my clients and for my business.
I love that. Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. Like in the early days, I was so focused on like ticking everything off my to-do list and then like chasing the kids around, and I'd forget to have like a good nourishing lunch or like, enough water in the day. And then it would come
Yeah.
to like 3 o'clock or whatever, and I'd start to hit the wall, and I would start
Yes.
to get like really agitated and like
Yeah.
cranky.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like, you know, what's really
Yeah.
going on here is that I need to like eat. I need to sit down. I need to just like take a minute and look after myself. My to-do
Yes.
list can wait, like, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And
just,
funny that we do that with our kids all the time, because we
yeah,
go, like, they're having a moment, they're being crazy, and you're like, okay, yeah, wait a minute. No, you haven't slept, you're or like you haven't eaten, we got a blood sugar issue going on, you're feeling out of balance right now, or that you didn't sleep well. And we make those excuses for them, and we go, okay, quickly go into action. Like, we need to get you food, or you need a nap, or whatever.
yeah.
But it's like, what are we doing for ourselves? Like, we're so structured
Yeah.
with our kids to like create this perfect schedule in a day so that they're balanced, while meanwhile, like, not doing the same thing for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
They are a good reminder, aren't they? Like,
yes,
look
a good
after
mirror
them.
too.
Look after yourself like you look after them.
Yeah, exactly. If only we put ourselves in that, like, have our breakfast and then our snacks and then our lunch
Yeah.
and then our snacks, and they're
Give
like
me a
perfectly
snack.
timed dinners. Yeah. Making sure
But
they've had their
speaking of
water.
my son, he's such a picky eater. Like he's always been a
Mm.
picky eater. Thankfully, Haley's pretty good. But yeah, Spencer, he loves his apples, his fruit. He's got his favorites. But
Mhm.
when it comes to anything, like I try and cook something new or whatever it may be, like he's turns his nose up at it before even tasting it. So, is there
Yeah.
a secret hack to getting your kids to eat more healthy or to have that like variety of nutrition and like vegetables within their meal?
Yeah, for sure. I would say my one word would be exposure. And give yourself also a break and the grace that like not every meal needs to be perfect. But if you just are consistent with always exposing them to new things all the time, then they start to understand that they're going to see new things on their plate. Like we can be very quick to go, okay, my kid only likes white pasta or like chicken nuggets. So I'm just going to feed that every night because that's safe for me. But they need to learn and adapt to new things on their plate, new flavors, new colors, new textures. We don't expect them to eat it necessarily, but long as it's there. So that exposure is really probably my most important thing. I always do at every meal. It's like I can make this beautiful meal. They could completely turn their nose at it. That's okay. I don't really, I think I've let go of going, but I made this beautiful meal for you. Like you should want to eat it. I let it go. I put one thing with their plate. I probably like my two main rules, besides the fact that I always expose them to new things, is I put very small portions, especially if it's new. Like I can put on like literally a micro bite of that thing. So it's not immediately like, get that off my plate. It's always there. They can either choose to take one taste of it or they cannot. But the probably the best tip that I got in the early stages of parenting was always put a safe food on the plate because they say like eating stimulates eating, or however you want to say it. So it's like if I know that my kids will always eat a blueberry if it's on their plate, then if I'm putting some new food on their plate, I always will have that safe food, whatever that might be for you. Say it's just some fruit, and they'll reach for that piece of fruit first, and it stimulates their digestion, it stimulates their mind, it stimulates their taste buds, it gets the saliva going, and then they're more likely to reach for the thing that's new and they haven't tried before. So that's what works for me. It's not a perfect science, even as a nutritionist, my kids don't always want to eat everything. I will say that they love their broccoli, and that's normally the first thing that they eat. And that is because they've been exposed to it over and over from the very beginning. So
I love
you can
that.
break
I'm
them
gonna have to
down
I'm gonna have to
eventually.
try, yeah, the safe food next
Yes, it
time.
works. Trust me. And then at least even with the safe food, it's like you know that they've eaten something rather
Yeah,
than pushing their plate away and not even had a bite of food. So
yeah.
yeah, I
And
think
that's
actually I want to add something else to that too, is
yes.
that I think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to like make sure that our kids are fed and that they need to finish their whole plate. And I know that that's definitely how I was raised to think about like you've got to eat everything that's on your plate. But I don't look at just the meal and how that they need to get all their nutrition in that meal. I look at the day as a whole
Mm,
and have they got their primary uh, buckets. So, have they got protein in the day? Have they got healthy fats during the day? Did they get micronutrients, macronutrients? Did they get colorful vegetables? Have they eaten some level of the rainbow and not all white? Have they got antioxidants from fruit? Have they got fiber from vegetables? So, at night, I can prepare a dish because I have to say that I am the parent that doesn't make an alternate meal. It is what it
mm.
is. You either choose to eat it or not. And I think that's also helps with me putting a safe food. So I know that they're not going to be starving. But I don't stress if they didn't want to eat dinner. I know with some parents, it's like, oh my gosh, you need to eat. And like, you're going to get skinny or whatever. I go, no, in the day, I have fed them so many beautiful choices. Their lunches are always packed. I send them off to school with so many different snacks and lunches. So I know that I'm good. Like, I feel like I've covered my bases in a day with the right mix of foods and vitamins, that I know that they're thriving.
I
So
love that.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is the thing, right? Like we just put so much pressure on ourselves, like they have to eat healthy or I'm like a terrible mother.
Yeah. No.
And then also too, like, you know, chicken nuggets is okay sometimes.
It
Like,
is. It is okay.
sometimes you do need to just like give yourself that break of like, yep, I know they're gonna eat this. I just
100%.
want some like peace and quiet tonight, and that's okay.
100%. And trust me, even as a nutritionist, my kids will still get their chicken nuggets and they only want the white pasta and all that. And so that's fine. Because again, I go back to like the fact that the overall picture of balance of what they eat is just that it's balanced. So if you just want cheese pizza and you just want white noodles, white butter noodles, and
Yeah.
you just want that chicken nugget, I'm okay. It's good. I will try to find options that I call like elevating it. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to get the chicken nuggets, I'm going to try to look for the ones that have whole wheat on, breading on the outside, or good butters and good, Parmesan that I'm going to put on the pasta, or good quality pasta. So it's like there is ways to elevate very traditional kid-friendly foods too.
Yeah. I love that.
It makes me feel a little bit better whether it
Yeah.
makes a difference or not.
Absolutely. So tell us more about your gut reset guide. Who is it
Yes.
for? What kind of transformation does it support?
Okay, great. I'd love to talk about this because this is something I have been working on, behind the scenes for years. It's so the 14-day gut reset guide is actually a protocol that I would put all of my clients through first because, going back to the beginning conversation, it's like we need to reset the foundation rather than me, throwing a bunch of different things you need to do. It's like so many different symptoms can be alleviated by just fixing the foundation. So, but this was never available. It was always working in a one-on-one capacity or my group programs. So I've been saying for years that I need to get this together in a way and put a package, a very big long program into a quick guide that any woman can do, whether you're busy, you've got a house full of kids, you don't have a lot of time, that you can start this easily. So where it really begins is for women, and what my prerogative was is for women that simply feel off. Like you don't necessarily need to go, I have gut issues. Like not everybody even identifies with what they think are gut issues. A lot of people don't even know. But I think I like to summarize it as like for the woman that feels off and she just doesn't know where to start with her health. She knows she needs to fix something, but doesn't know where to go. So she could be bloated, she could be breaking out, she could know she has gut issues or digestive issues, but she could also just be feeling really moody or have strong PMS symptoms, or she's really tired, or she's just like simply not feeling like herself. So this guide helps you reset very gently. So we're not cutting everything out. We're not putting you on some extreme juice cleanse, or just like having to live off water and powders or something like that. Is really a food first, realistic. It's designed to help you feel lighter and clearer and like ultimately just get you feeling more like you again.
I
Simply put.
love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think, when people think about reset or cleanse,
Mhm.
like that is what it would be, like a cleanse, which means removing, you know, everything from your
Everything.
diet and just going to,
Yeah.
like I remember my mom would do this, the water, lemon, cayenne pepper,
Cayenne, yeah.
um,
Maybe could have
maybe there
honey
was
or
honey
something
in
in it.
it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and that was the
yeah.
thing, and have that every day, and I'm like, okay.
For sure. And
It's
that's what people think is like cleanses and like detoxes is another one. Or like
yes.
how many people have done, I don't know of much if it's for you in Australia, but the wild rose. Did you ever hear that one? The
No, I
wild
haven't heard
rose
that one.
detox. That was a really common and popular one. It's like a selection of different pills, supplements, and things that you need to eat over
Okay.
a certain amount of time and restrict a bunch of things. And I think like it doesn't need to be so extreme. Like especially we don't need more stress in our lives. We want things that are simple and foundational, and I'm focused on nourishing ourselves. So that's another thing to mention, that it's not just a food only. It's kind of it's a complete holistic approach. So it's taking your mind and your body, and we're just completely focused into putting it into a 14-day time frame. Like I could make this, you could do it for 30 days, you could do it for 90 days, you could honestly
Mhm.
live this way for the rest of your life. That's why I mean, like, it's not that extreme. But it's just a way to kind of reset your digestion, rebalance your body, more importantly, and kind of reboot things. So in it, I have a 14-day meal plan that's included. So one way that I structured it, I thought, okay, I need to make this really realistic, something that I could even do myself and follow through on. So I made it it's very flexible, but shaped it in a way that you can follow a very gut nourishing breakfast and lunch every day. You don't have to create a new thing every day. You don't have to think about it that way. It's like, what's the one thing I can have every morning that I know is going to set me up for success and isn't going to make me crash? Then a couple hours later or in the afternoon, I'm going to be reaching for something sweet as a pick me up or salty. I need to keep my blood sugars balanced. I need to keep myself nourished. I need to focus on healing. So I made every meal from breakfast, lunch to very simple and straightforward. If you want to make it more fancy, it totally has the opportunity to do that. But I wanted to go, okay, what's something I can do and that's realistic? And then in dinners, I give you over 30 gut-friendly recipes in the guide, all different options for all different taste preferences. And then I'm really into batch cooking. So how can we not cook a new meal every single night? How can we reuse the food into our lunches, into our dinners? So it's focused on that. It's got tons of tools in it. We've got trackers. We've got education on, living a more healthy life, gut knowledge. It goes on, and it started at 111 pages. We're up to 125 pages and growing, maybe. Not to be overwhelming, but it's like jam packed full of so much. It's kind of like a wellness guide for life. I kind of look at it that way.
I love that. Yeah, so really is set up to um, support women that are already busy and overwhelmed and just really simplifying their gut health
Yes, for
with
sure.
really
Taking out,
practical.
like, laying it out for you. No guesswork, no overwhelm. We're just give you all the tools, follow it, learn. It's kind of taking you back to what I wish I had, the guide I wish I had when I was going through all of my digestive issues. I wish somebody could have given that to me. And not just digestive issues, just when I thought I was living a healthy life by what I thought was eating was healthy and what I thought all the exercise I was doing was healthy, and then realizing, like, I actually wasn't supporting myself at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Can you share one or two of your favorite tools or resources that are in the guide? I know that you've got like a gut-friendly yes and no food list, just so maybe
Yes.
like a couple of those yeses and nos that you like red flags that you would stay away from with
Yeah.
food and things that are like your go-to.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, definitely my favorite tool in there. Well, I've got a few of them, but my gut friendly yes and no list that you mentioned is kind of one of my foundational pieces. And I want to preface this by saying that this isn't in a list to cause restriction. It's a list to help your body identify what works for you, and so what serves you and what doesn't serve you. And so another favorite tool of mine that kind of connects to this that I have in there is I actually have a really in-depth symptom tracker. I give lots of paper trackers that you can, print out, and if you're kind of one of put by pen, and that's better for you. But I also give a digital tracker in there that I use with all my clients. And really, this tracker gives us really an in-depth view on your body, what gives you energy. Like, I look at food as a whole on, does it give you energy or does it draw energy away
Mm.
from you? And so, a lot of things I think about in my business and what I try to explain with my clients is there isn't good or bad foods. And even in my yes or no list, it's not about things that are good or bad. It's like, does this food serve you or does it withdraw your energy? And so even for myself, when I make choices about certain things that I eat, I could eat this big, huge sandwich at lunchtime because it looks delicious. But I then know that an hour later, I'm going to be tired. So it's not that that sandwich was bad. I just know that the components within it are something that are going to draw my energy. So if I need to show up for, I need a lot of energy, meetings or my kids or whatever, like I then look at food as a tool. So in my yes and no list, I would say off the top of my head, my favorite ones for yes are, I'm going to say definitely eating the rainbow. And that's really what I focus on there. It's just like making sure that every day is everything that you eat and on your plate, try to make it as colorful as you can, and really thinking about your plate is probably my balanced plate is probably one of my most important tools. And looking at how we can so often go, okay, I just need like a big, huge piece of meat, and I need like some big potatoes, and I need some rice, and like, oh, okay, I'll throw on a couple veggies on there, and like we're good to go. But understanding how that's going to support us and fuel us or withdraw our energy. So in my guide, I talk about the balanced plate, and probably the best tip I can give everybody is making sure that your plate is cut it down the middle. Half of it is all vegetables. So whether that's salad or steamed vegetables, roasted vegetables, whatever you want. And then the next corner of your plate is a protein of kind, so a lean protein. This is what we focus on in the guide. So that can be chicken, that can be fish. That can also be things like lean red meats, like bison is one of them. And then the next quarter is looking at our carbohydrates. That's the other thing that I say that kind of drive me crazy is, especially in like the keto world, it's like carbohydrates are bad, and that, eating this carrot is going to be bad because it's like too high carbohydrates, when it's like, no, carbohydrates, we need them. They are energy, they are fuel for our bodies. They're fiber, there's so many beneficial nutrients. So it's just proportions. So again, on that
Mhm.
plate, it's the falling quarter. So we got half vegetables, we got a quarter protein, and we've got a quarter carbohydrate. So quinoa, wild rice, brown rice, sweet potatoes. If like, even if you just learn anything from that guide on how to balance your plate. Oh, I should also add, we also need to add a little spot on there for healthy fats. Every meal
Mhm.
needs to have fiber, it needs to have healthy fats, and it needs to have protein to stabilize our blood sugars, rebuild our cells in our body, and keeping things connected, supporting our
Absolutely.
nervous systems and all the good things that we need, hormones,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah, and like you said, like so many people will steer away from, carbohydrates or like those healthy fats because it's got the word fat in it or whatever, like
Yes.
no, that's like we need it for our brain. We need it for
Yes, and
like
our
so many
hormones
things.
as
Yes.
well, and our
Yeah.
cells, they all need it. And so we unfortunately went through kind of like the propaganda that happened, especially in the 90s, of like
Hmm.
bad fats, and we got
Yeah.
to have fat free this and fat free that. And it's absolutely, we need fat to stabilize our blood sugar. So if we don't have fat, we're going to be hungry again soon and reaching for quick sources of fuel. So that's when a lot of those, like the bad carbs, if we want to call them,
Hmm.
the,
Yeah.
the chips and the bread and the things that are fast fuel but aren't actually going to nourish us. So that being said, I will give you a no on my yes no list for fats that I will say are a no, and that will come down to most seed oils. And the reason for that is most seed oils are most of them are highly oxidative. They've oxidized in the bottles that they're in or in the process in which they're created. So they're just, if you can stay away from seed oils, you're doing yourself a favor. So instead, and this will be on my yes list, is focusing on things like coconut oil and avocado oil and olive oil at low heat. And also important to know, oils on at what range that they should be heated. I think it's really important for people to understand too. A lot of, throw really nice olive oil and get it super, super hot, but just understanding how different oils have different smoke points and how they serve your body that way. So
Hmm.
my no fat is seed oils. Try to stay away
Okay.
if you
Yeah,
can.
definitely. So let's do some like fun questions now.
Okay.
And not that they weren't fun before,
Okay.
but I would love to know like what's your favorite go-to meal for gut health?
Okay, that's an easy one. It's my morning smoothie.
Mm.
Because that's where it all started for going back to my health journey is when I stopped doing this like getting my bagel and having this like big bowl of cereal or ways that going back to like what fuels you and what
Mhm.
withdraws energy, understanding that. So that was the main change I will say is when I started with like what I call my gut healing smoothie. Um, because that's like the first moment in the day that you have to nourish yourself. And I could go on another tangent about intermittent fasting for women as well too, because I just like think how we nourish ourselves in the morning is so important for our hormones and for our blood sugar balance and our nervous system support. So that's my go-to. It's my morning smoothie.
I love it. Okay, I might be like um shaming myself here, but I heard that having coffee before
Yes.
breakfast is a no.
Yes. It is.
Yes. Okay.
It is a no.
Why?
It's a no, but I'm also going to be realistic for moms
Yeah.
and like just life that there's in everything. And that's why I try in my practice to just be very realistic with my clients and meet them where they're at. Because, I can work with a woman that's just like, girl, like coffee is going to happen in the morning, no matter what. That's one non-negotiable. And then I say, okay, we'll work with what you got. What can we do before that coffee to support you? But if I had my way, I would say, no, we want to, the one thing we don't want to do in the morning is like our cortisol is already naturally increasing in the morning, and that's what wakes us up and gets us going. We don't want to then spike that with a big dose of caffeine and burn out our adrenals and make things harder on our nervous system. So, and it stimulates a blood sugar imbalance and so many different things. So, yes, in the morning before that coffee, we need to have lots of water before the coffee and ideally a high protein breakfast. And then you reach for that coffee. I also know that that sequence could be difficult when we're ingrained to have that
In
coffee
that
first thing in
order.
the morning. Yeah. So if coffee is happening before food, if that's a non-negotiable for you, then yes, you need to start with that big glass of lemon water, which I preach about all the time, how important that morning step is to rehydrate our body and to clean out that digestive system and to stimulate our digestion and get it ready to go for the day after our fast, after us sleeping.
I love that. You've
Yes.
mentioned a lot of like, you know, non-negotiables as far as, your lemon water, your eating the rainbow, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. What is your absolute non-negotiable in a day?
Oh, oh gosh. Oh, so many. Well, actually, no. I also just need to, there's non-negotiables and then there's also just the reality of life. So I realize that some days it doesn't always go as planned, but I would say the thing I crave the most is my lemon water in the morning.
Mhm.
That is I used to just reach for coffee the first thing, but then when I really like learned about how putting that very there are two things with coffee. It's very acidic, so putting something very acidic in our body first thing, and it's very dehydrating as well too. So when I know that my body, if I kind of just like look at it like this plant or this like sponge, and I know that it has gone through a long fast overnight, I just like what does it need right now? And does it need to be more dehydrated than it already is? And does it need to get nourished with something acidic right away? Or does it need something that's going to nourish it? And an interesting, not everybody knows this, but lemon actually turns alkaline in your body. So people think, oh, lemons, they're so acidic, but they're actually very alkalizing to our body. So a great thing to add to your morning
Hmm.
routine.
Yeah. I love like we've got one of those sparkling water machines. So
Yes, yeah.
I do love that even at like the end of the day. That's my
Yes.
it's not a treat, but I just
Yeah.
feel yeah, fancy with it. Having
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
sparkling lemon water. I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Instead of,
But I
having
will say in
soda
the
or having
morning,
something unhealthy, like I still feel
yes,
like
I
I'm
love
getting
it.
the bubbles, but it's
The
healthy.
bubbles
Yeah.
are good too. When they will say in the morning though, for what with an important piece to this, because some people will be like, I'll have a hot glass of water with like a squeeze of lemon in the morning or bubbles or something like that. My recipe for the perfect lemon water in the morning, it needs to be warm, not hot, not cool, but it just needs to be warm. So my every morning I fill up a big, huge glass, kind of like mason jar with filtered water, and then I top it up with hot water from my kettle, and then I always have a full half lemon squeeze, big lemon squeezed into it. So it's got to be at the temperature that you can chug it, like enough that you can finish a large glass of it versus like hot where you're just having to sip lightly, or cold, you don't want to put something really cold in your body. You want it to feel smooth, and just think of it like flowing through your digestive system,
Mhm.
cleaning everything as it goes, cleaning your liver, stimulating those digestive juices, and it's like primed and ready for whatever you put into it next, whether that's coffee, whether that is whatever food you choose. That would be my first step.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so probably one last thing. What is one thing that helps you reset mentally or emotionally, whether that is food or another way that you support yourself?
I would say it's walking for me.
Mm.
I think, I have a dog, so that helps me. I get out, I'm forced to get out as well. I also have a walking pad in my office. And definitely, if I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, or just not feeling off for whatever reason, it's like I know that that's a cue to me that I need fresh air. I need to get out and move my body. And if it's not the weather outside, then I need to move my body inside. And that way that I, start stimulating those natural endorphins in my body and kind of clear the mind and reset. Not to mention that from a gut health perspective, it's a great thing to stimulate the motility in your digestive system too. So it's a great way to reset that as well too.
Mhm.
But yeah, mentally, walking, moving, most important for me.
Yeah, definitely. Just move that energy out.
Yes, move it out.
Move
Exactly.
it out.
Get it out.
So if someone's like gut health is
Yes.
off and they don't know where to start, what is one simple step that they can take today?
Well, I would say contact me is what I would say. Go visit my Instagram. I'm at Jill Remhimi Wellness. You can also visit my website, jillremhimi.com. And I've got lots of tools there you can start with. You can start with my 14-day gut reset guide is just kind of a simple jumping off point of going, okay, let's just reset ourselves for a couple weeks and go from there. I also offer one-on-one coaching. So that's for people that want extra support. I offer you the ability to kind of walk through my guide with me, and support you along the way. But for a lot of women that need just don't understand why they have the symptoms that they have, I kind of do a full protocol where I deep dive into your symptoms. I connect the dots. I find out the parts of your body that are out of balance. And then I work on a plan with you, a really customized plan to work you through that and get you to feeling your best again. So I think those are two. And otherwise, join my newsletter. You get I call them Feel Good Fridays. And every Friday I offer a tip. I'm always like delving into a topic. I think this week we're going into hormones. And every week I'm just getting into some of the issues that we're all dealing with as we're all getting older and helping out. So I think that'd be the best way is reach out to me, DM me, and let's connect on how I can help.
Amazing. I'll put all of your contact info and how they
Thank
can
you.
get your gut reset guide in the show notes.
Awesome.
And if this conversation lit something up in you, maybe you're realizing it's not just your gut that's been feeling off, but maybe the way that you've been moving through your business too. I want to invite you into a deeper level of support because the truth is, your energy, your health, and the way you lead your business are all connected. If you're a woman who wants to grow a soul led business in a way that feels aligned, powerful, and true to who you are, not the version of you that's burnt out or second guessing herself, then my one to one private coaching is for you. So, inside our work together, we clarify your messaging, help you own your voice and authority, and create content that offers and attracts the exact clients that you're meant to serve without burning yourself out trying to be someone you're not. This is for the woman who's ready to get visible with conviction and sell in a way that feels grounded, bold, and magnetic. So if that's you, head to the link in the show notes to learn more or come to Instagram and DM me the word coaching and we'll chat about what's possible for you. Thank you so much, Jill, for chatting with
Thank
me
you.
today. I learned a lot.
Okay, good.
Um,
I appreciate you having me on. This was awesome to
yeah,
chat with
no,
you.
it's been so lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.